is just let you know that we are hosting a live in-person event in Sedona, Arizona. This is going to be our third. We've been to Sedona and hosted retreats, but for this specific project slash business slash, passion project, this will be our third event in Sedona, and we're going to be there from March 6th to the 11th. So you're going to get to come and stay in the villa with us and experience mushrooms to whatever degree that you want to. Maybe you want to microdose them. Maybe you do want to be led through a guided ceremony. We're going to be doing hikes together. We're going to be doing some cacao ceremonies. We're going to be doing yoga. We're going to be doing breath work. We're going to be doing all of the integration things and all of the healing things to help you either get started on your healing journey with this medicine, right? Or amplify, magnify what you already have going on, what you're already doing with the medicine, right? The event is specifically for entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. So maybe if you don't have a business yet, but you are somebody that you're like, I definitely want to get started on the entrepreneur path, and you know that you've pretty much made that decision in your mind, then you're welcome to, check it out and apply. If you need information on, the full details, the dates, just what's included and all of that kind of stuff, you can go to the link in my bio and then just scroll to Activate Your Dharma Sedona, and you can check out the page and it's got all of the information. And then what we ask you to do that is if it resonates with you, if you're like, yeah, this is what I've been needing, I'll talk a little bit after I get done describing this about like who exactly this is for, because it is for a certain individual, a certain person, and there are 2 spots left. So if you have been thinking about it, or if you follow any one of us and you've been like, I wonder if that's for me, or I've been thinking about that, but I'm nervous to travel, or I'm nervous to invest in myself, or I'm nervous to even just have this type of a experience or ceremony, then we're here to walk you and guide you through all of that. And if you have specific questions, you can pop them in the question bubble below. Well, hold on just one second. I'm going to invite Chavo on here. Chavo is he's our member, our customer and member and client experience concierge and training. And he's also a brother of ours, a longtime friend of ours, and co-founder of the Quetzalcoatl Institute. Hold on, view request. Nevaeh kind of favors me over him. Not that, she doesn't love her dad or whatever, but, it's like mother's touch thing. So I might have to switch with him and go put her to sleep and then come and join after. I think that's probably what's going to end up happening in a moment. Oh, cool. You were describing that to someone. Okay, welcome. Yay, you're here. I'm going to see if he wants me to switch spots with him. Okay, yeah, can you, is it better than full circle? For me, let us know in the if you can see either me or Chavo, and if you can hear us clearly, because we're just having all kinds of technical craziness going on over
here. Yes, we do appreciate everybody's patience. Thank y'all for joining us. You can be anywhere else. We do thank y'all.
Get myself out. I'm going to see if you want to switch me spots, and then I'm going to rejoin with you guys once she falls asleep. Okay, hold on 1 second.
How's everyone doing out there? I hope you can hear my voice regardless of whether you can see a physical image, whether you can see a physical video. You have a bunch of other senses. But even that, let's go above that. Let's take it to a higher level beyond this first level density, beyond this physicality. Let's take it a level above that. Let's go to the higher mind, right? So what do you really have? What are you really seeing? What are you really hearing? These are all your air quote senses, right? Think of it as a team. If your brain did not function the way it was designed to, with the help, the teamwork, if you will, of your senses, what would you really be seeing? What would you really be doing? Would you consider this existence? Am I really talking to you? Are you really listening to the sound of my voice? Are you really seeing me for what I am? It's all perspective. My brother, Kukulkan. Yo, what's good? Hey, thank y'all for y'all's patience. For real though. Hey, it's time to let the real people know what a real Naga is. It's time for the real G's.
Yeah. Can y'all hear us okay? Like, we apologize for the electronic interference. Y'all hear us okay? We're good. Let us know in the comments. Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah. I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
The video will sporadically glitch, but the audio is fine.
No, that's crazy because like these electronics be glitching as like we raise our energy
Yes.
and we return to the cosmos. Um, it says that we're glitching on our end. That's crazy. Like
These archons do not like love.
literally, and by archons, we're talking about the negative gray aliens, the negative reptilians. For those that aren't tuned into these, the astral planes, the etheric planes, the plasma planes, it's time to realize why is that valuable for an entrepreneur to study, bro? In your opinion, like why is it valuable to integrate the spirit world with this world?
Well, from my humble opinion, what a true entrepreneur does is pretty much grabs life by the horns, if you will. You know, they take charge out of their environment or circumstance or whatever, and they go beyond that. And this is all spiritual, whether you want to admit it or not, whether you want to shove your head in the dirt, you know, whether you want to try to ignore it, you can't run away from yourself. This is all spiritual. This is all a reflection of the higher mind. You know, that's where you get that old saying. You know, Thoth, as above, so below, as within, so without. Same thing. This is all the reflection. You know, but you have to see beyond that duality. You have to see beyond that because you have to see it for what it is, a distraction to keep you away and disconnected from your true self, which is the higher mind.
And every entrepreneur that's watching this now or at a later time, how are you going to be successful long term in any business if you're not integrating the spirit with your business? Or in other words, if you don't understand universal and law, and you're just running away from the demiurge, which is ultimately are responsible for all that you feel every single day of your life, you have to purge yourself of lower dimensional entities. You have to recognize the human experience is not just one aspect. Like you're not a human. Like none of you that's watching right now is just human alone. Like you have the human plane, the mental plane, the etheric plane, the plasma plane. You have these higher realms of light, which are a part of the human experience. But because we've all been indoctrinated with the standard American diets, with the indoctrination of the loose schooling systems, we fall trapped to only operating from the third dimensional plane. We fall trapped to only seeing the world from a carnal perspective. And through that carnality, we create enmity. Through the carnality, we create enmity against ourselves. And so we don't truly know who we are and what we are. But this Activate Your Dharma event happening March 6th through the 11th is going to be maybe for the first time you'll be able to tap into who you truly are, which is an infinite, sentient, sovereign, divine being. That's what every single one of you is. The Most High, right? This is what the Most High has done. This is what the mushroom is doing. Holy Scripture and all different religions, they virtually say the same thing, but nobody really gets it. Nobody really knows the gnosis of it until you have the conscious contact. And the mushrooms, what do they reveal to you? That the Most High split apart trillions of times over across all space and time, across different galaxies, different universes, to experience him and her subjectively, objectively, and to have that experience and to bring back that information back to the center source. And what does that mean? It means that you, being a child of the Most High, a son or daughter of the Most High, that there has never been a separation between you and the universe. There's never been a separation between you and the cosmos. There's never been a separation between you and unconditional love and non-judgment. But there's also never been a separation of you and righteousness, right? Because right useness of your energy, right useness of your time and money and attention or energy flows where attention goes. So whatever you're giving your time, money, resources, energetic resonances, whatever you're giving your attention to is what's going to expand. And so it's time to discover the knowledge of your true self once again. But you have to face yourself. You have to you have to integrate the shadow. Now, you know, I remember in 2015, I started doing plant medicine. I think you were with me, Chavo. I don't know if you were there. Was it 2015 when we did it together? It might have been 2000.
2016, I believe.
Okay, bet. And I'll tell you, you know, when I had smoked dimethyltryptamine, which a lot of you think it's a drug, it's not a drug. It's an ancient indigenous sacrament. For a lot of you that don't know, mushrooms aren't drugs. Just putting that out there. You already know how Big Pharma reversed everything and called their man-made synthetic chemically based drugs medicine, while at the same time demonizing natural sacred medicine, right? We know what they did, so you can't run away forever. We know the truth now. 2015, when I first did DMT, it absolutely just changed everything for me. Everything that I thought that I knew about the world, about myself, about the environment, it completely changed. You know, it showed me levels to myself that I would have never got otherwise. No amount of meditation, no amount of learning from others gave me what I got during those plant medicine sessions. And those plant medicine sessions, I would recommend that everybody tries it at least once.
Okay.
And I would also recommend that you begin to study how your body functions, what your electrical wiring in your nervous system really is about. It wasn't until I started really integrating with these plant medicines, like the mushrooms, like the mimosa, like ayahuasca, and combining these plant medicines to tap into higher realms of myself, that it allowed me to pursue the truth, seek the truth, and know nothing but the truth. And the truth of the matter is that we are all one consciousness having this trillion sentient being experience. We are that divine deity having this wild and drama experience. And there's no respecter of persons. It's not one person being better than somebody else. It's not that person over there more chosen than the other person. Nah, man. Fuck all that noise. We are all worthy of eternal divine bliss. We are all Buddha nature. Call it Buddha nature. We all have that Buddha divine sovereign nature within ourselves. The problem is that we run away from ourselves. There's a quote, bro. And there's a quote that says that we're not afraid that we are inadequate, but that we are more powerful beyond measure. It is light that scares us, not the darkness that we've been walking into, right? If you're me, walking in the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Maybe you've been walking through the valley of the shadow of death for a long time, where there's been nothing but negativity in most of your life, or entropy, which is possibility of things going wrong. What can go wrong will go wrong, right? And emphasizing your focus onto negative ways of thinking creates those negative results, because the Most High is no respecter of persons. And since you are the Most High having the human experience, I know it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that Creator are one and the same. Like, I get that. You want to out of yourself and put it in idolatry, put it in statues, put it on altars, put it on everything outside of realizing that you are the infinite deity having the experience. You don't want to know that you are the infinite deity having the experience, because then that would mean what, brother? 100% responsibility. Then
100% responsibility, and knowing that you are loved and you are love. Everyone is just a reflection of you, a continuation, an extension of you. To make anyone belittle anybody, or to treat anybody less than you, is to do the same for yourself.
Yeah. How you treat others is ultimately how you feel about yourself. And realizing that there are no others, there is only you. There, although it might look separate in nature, right? There's spatial space between us, right? There's time between us, like the distance that it's going to take between you and I to get to each other. There might be some compensation of time there, and there may even be some space there. But in between that time and in between that space, you know what's always there? The electrical connection that we all have together. Every single one of us are binded by the cyclical nature of being connected to each other. So how is it that some people can have, like, let's just say 100 people come together in a group, right? And they meditate. Immediately that city, wherever they're at, they're going to have a positive experience, even if they weren't even a part of that meditation. Why? Because everyone is truly connected. You know, I will tell them the story about how you heal yourself out of syndrome, and because you heal yourself with plant medicine and you decided to let go of trauma, your son was also able to heal from that so-called disorder that he was suffering with.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yep.
Like, why is that? You know, because you're connected to your son.
You know, science has actually recently proven that genetically, the trauma, the energy, the memories, all that actually gets passed down genetically. So if you don't take responsibility and heal yourself, you just cause a whole chain of reaction, a vicious cycle of samskara and suffering for future generations. But if you actually take the initiative and realize, maybe I have a problem. There's something in here that's wrong with me that I need to fix so I can attract everything out here. Until you take that initiative, until you take that first step, nothing's going to change and you're just going to be that guy. But once you do heal yourself, you become the healer. You become the healer ancestor. You're the ancestor that healed all the other generations. You know, let's make our ancestors proud, guys. You know, it's time. It's the year of the dragon. It's time.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'll tell you, mushrooms helped me heal from so much trauma, PTSD, anger problems. I had physical weight problems. I always had a hard time like maintaining my physique and my fitness because of the terrible foods that I was addicted to, the sugar, the meats, the heavy carbohydrates. Mushrooms helped me be disciplined in my diet. Mushrooms, DMT helped me maintain a sense of discipline that I wouldn't have had otherwise, because I was trying to do it on my own willpower, but I needed more than willpower alone, which is a center chakra. I needed to go and have that divine conscious experience with the higher self, with the infinite mind, the nomadic monad. You can call it whatever God, call it God, call it Allah, call it Brahma, call it Vishnu, call it Krishna, call it Quetzalcoatl, call it Kukulkan. Either way, I needed that divinity. I needed to know what that divine love really looked like, man. And I'm at the point now where I'm so healed now, where I am very confident in my ability and helping. I'm not a healer. I just point the path. I'm doorman. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ultimately heal yourself, right? To all you so-called healers out there, you ain't healing nobody. You're giving people the opportunity to heal themselves, realizing that, hey, you never needed a guru. You are the guru. You are the infinite one having the human experience. And I don't give a fuck what race, color, or religion you subscribe to, or who you are, what's happened to you in the past, or the amount of trauma that you're carrying up until this day, or the genetic trauma, or the diseases that you so-called are subscribing to. Nah, man, fuck all that. Fuck all of that. All of that is negativity. All of that is entropy, and all that can be released. Lower dimensional entities play on your feelings that way. They'll make you believe that you are your trauma. They'll take your I am awareness of being, your I am principle, and use it against you, and then your own words condemn you. There's a holy scripture that says life and death is in the power of the tongue. So you better watch the spells that you're speaking, and not just speaking, but thinking. I think I got, how many freaking thoughts per day does the human being have? Like thousands of thoughts per day, unread, right? And if you have thousands of thoughts per day unregistered, meaning like unaware, unconscious, then you're not aware of the thoughts that you're having. Then all happening is a continuous record player of the same thoughts that you've had all the way up until you were 20, 30, 40, 50 years old. However old you might be, they may still be playing based off of childhood traumas that did not get resolved. And the reality is, here's what I'm going to tell you, right? Most important thing I got to tell you. The universe loves you, my friend. Nature loves you unconditionally. Yeah. 60,000 plus thoughts, exactly. And most people, right? Most people are in such a negative spiral that they're producing 60,000 plus negative thoughts per day. And then we wonder why people are sick. And then we wonder why people can't get ahead. And then we wonder why people aren't able to energetically go to another phase in their life. because that subconscious has been programmed with everything that they've taken ever since they were a child. And that individual entity has not done the shadow work or has not come to the knowledge of self. Islam, right? I, self, Lord, am master. Like I said before, I respect all religions. There's beauty in almost every religion. You can find the golden nuggets in every religion and see, like, whoa, there's a unified golden thread happening here. I don't have to be racist. I don't have to be a hater. I can show love and respect to all religions, all races, all colors, right? Realizing that everything is one, everything is connected, brother. I'm kind of rambling, man. You jump in.
Nah, you're good.
I'll
You're
ramble,
good. Like,
bro. I'll ramble.
nah, you're good, dude.
Like,
Hey, it's not rambling. You know what I'm saying? Then some people need to hear it. You know, some people need to be force fed the truth. You know, but it's all out of love and it's all out of righteousness. I'm like, listen, guys, look, we get it. You know, we get it. It might be a little intimidating. It might be a little difficult to face yourself. You know what I'm saying? To step up to bat and swing. We get it. Okay. People will be afraid to start a new job, first day of school, move to a new city, follow for their, you know, for their bachelor's, master's, you know, get into all the student loans, all this, that's another subject. But my point is, people are afraid in actuality of the most minuscule things because it's all perspective. I've done several sessions of DMT, psilocybin, lysergic acid dithalamide, dimethyltryptamine, like I already said, DMT, whatever. The point is, I've already stepped a little bit onto those waters, that primordial ocean. And honestly, once you go to those realms and you reveal, you kind of like lift up the curtain, you see the other side, you're like, oh shit, you appreciate, honestly, you are thankful for this controlled chaos that's out here. Because in here, where we're really from, in the higher mind, in the higher dimensions, in actuality, where our real origin is from, chaos, complete chaos. But that's what we perceive it to be, because this is all we know. We were brought down here physically on this third realm, and this is what we have adapted to. The human mind is so powerful, after so long it adapts, and it's just taught. You have the higher mind, mammalian mind, and reptilian mind. You're just taught on that, survival instinct, fight or flight mode, and that's what they want to keep you vibe low. You appreciate the controlled chaos that is physically here on this level. And then once you do see the other side of the curtain, you can't ever go back to who you were before. It'll never be the same.
No,
once you have your first ego death, never go back.
Hey, bro,
never.
If you don't mind, if I edify you real quick, there's a script, not a scripture. There's a quote that says, like, once the mind is expanded, it cannot go back to its original state. So that's totally true, And like I said before, like, a lot of people have entities on their bodies. Hey, let's just do it together, right? Fuck it. Yeah. A lot of people have entities on their bodies, and they don't realize this, that they've been plagued. I mean, the higher self agreed to having these contracts. The higher self, see, you're such an infinite being. Whoever's watching this from home, you, the one watching, the individual watching, whether you're a man or a woman or a child, whatever, you are an infinite being who created a contract from the higher realms to have this dualistic experience called samsara, suffering. You decided to have all sorts of pain, agony, and suffering, and depression, and anxiety, and separation from the Most High. And in that contract, you decided to play this game called Forget That I Am the Most High. And because you decided to play that game, you literally have worshipped gods outside of yourself. You've been in religions. You've declared other people to be holier than you, or you declared other people to be better than you, and not realizing that the same I am awareness of being that's within me is the same one that's within you and every sentient being on the planet, including the animals. Like, everybody's a soul having the experience. And so, like, how do we forgive others? How do we get over our traumas? How do we get into a place where we have true perspective and clarity on who we are, what we are, where are we from? Is realizing that we come from higher realms. Like, I've bared witness to these realms. I'm not just talking some bullshit. Literally, I've been on like 5-10 grams of mushrooms. I love the mushrooms, right? And the mushrooms take me to these higher realms, like, where I'm like breathing, right? Like, I'm meditating in the higher realms. I'm breathing. I've told you this before, babe. I'll breathe in the higher realms, and then, like, I'm co-creating the universe in the higher realms, but through an organic technology where I'll breathe, and then all the vibration of the universe just are fluctuating within me, without me, through me, and I'm contributing to the ever expanding gnosis of the cosmos. And that's the reality of what we're doing here, is that you're either co-creating and contributing to the ever expanding, the ebb and flow, that flux of consciousness of love, or you're contracting and you're creating unconscious oblivion, which is another form of self-sabotage. And I was there prior to the plant medicine. I was a pro mixed martial arts fighter. I've had 12 MMA fights, amateur and pro. I used to spar to the head 3-4 times per cycle week. And in that, I took a lot of abuse in my head. I also was beaten until I was 15 years old. I was also sexually abused while I was younger. I was also taken away from my indigenous family when I was 7 years old. I was also colonized and discriminated against. And the amount of self-hatred that I had, because I was born in Guatemala City, Guatemala. And at that time when I was taken away from my dad, it was so much pain. It was so much pain and agony. And people would just look down upon the indigenous people. And because I was so-called half indigenous, half European, I was never accepted by either side. I was still like plagued with the fact that people were looking down upon our culture, our heritage, our so-called race, that I had self-hatred all the way up until plant medicine came into my life, where I literally could not even look at myself in the mirror and feel good about myself because of my so-called brown skin, because I was from Guatemala. And because society didn't really accept me for who I was, I didn't accept myself for who I was. My own mother didn't accept me for who I was. I ran away from all that and I started skateboarding. I started doing mixed martial arts, but I was doing all those things, not resolving my childhood traumas, my teenage traumas, or my adult traumas, that it ended up affecting me in business later in life. Like, it's part of the reason why we bankrupted our six-figure business. It's part of the reason why I couldn't maintain healthy relationships. It's part of the reason why I was attracting narcissists and just allowing them to just run over me, because I didn't feel good enough to have genuine friends who respect boundaries and can honor the one within me and then themselves.
Can I make a point?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
And thank you for sharing that. And we all have a story and an experience that we've been through, and the point of him sharing that vulnerability is for you to be able to identify with, well, what was it that you went through, right? Because as an entrepreneur, and we work with mainly people who are entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, and our event is designed for entrepreneurs. So if you just tuned into this before the very beginning, we are hosting a live in-person mushroom experience ceremony and also business workshop, digital business workshop in Sedona, Arizona, March 6th through the 11th. And the whole point of that is to bring you to a place where you can, you can be yourself. You can come to a place that's a non-judgment zone. For so many people that are if you're on a spiritual awakening path, right? And you might be the only one in your family that is talking about these kinds of things, or maybe you won't even mention mushrooms to your family because they'll think that you're going down the wrong path, you're going on drugs or something like that. I know, like, we all have to deal with that, right? But to be surrounded by people who have been through things that are similar to you, we all have a story and we all have a script, and it's quite literally a story, a script, and a program that will control our lives. So until he started doing the work with this medicine, with these mushrooms, and not just using, right, but working with the mushrooms and actually doing the integration and doing the shadow work and doing the inner child reflecting and doing all of the work that is required to undo and uproot beliefs and stories and literal programs, right? We have to. I teach my students in my my course programs that our body and our brain and our mind is we're like bioelectromagnetic beings, right? And we're so much computer, right? And we have that are running, that were created for the most part from the time that we were conceived up until like age 7 and 8. And this is very supported in neuroscience, that children in a hypnagogic trance, they're their brain waves are in theta for most of the time. And what does that mean? It means that we're just soaking in information. So every experience that we have is we're soaking it all in. We're soaking in everything that everyone's telling us, our caretakers, the kids at school, the teachers, everything, right?
No
Every
filter.
experience we don't have the ability to say, wait a minute, let me see if what Timmy said about me is true. We just expect it as true, or we accept it as true, right?
Subconscious accepts it.
And so we become these adults who are trying to run businesses, right? And I don't remember who originally said this, but I found it to be very mind-blowing. And I started observing everyone, myself, people who I was around, people who I was working with, and they said that the average adult walking around is literally a 7 to 12-year-old nervous system and subconscious mind. And that to me, I was like, wow, that's so true. Like, and when you look at how like adults act towards each other and stuff like that, and sometimes you may have observed childish behavior in other adult friends that you have, and that's really wise because we get frozen in these experiences we have as children. We're not taught to go back, reprogram, and to rewrite and to rewire ourselves to think differently, right? To believe something new about ourselves, to believe something new is possible, right? So we're here to help we've been through, share what's worked for us in regards to working with this medicine, and also to rewiring, reprogramming the limiting beliefs you might be experiencing.
Can I edify you real quick?
Yeah, of course.
So speaking of like adults walking children these days, and maybe you have friends who act like children. You know, I can admit that I've acted childish in the past prior to plant medicine integration. I've had nervous system breakdowns and acted like a child. But the truth of the matter is that the cosmos, your ancestors, the source, sees us all as a child who does not integrate with nature. Like you have like a little brother, a little sister, like complex to where if you don't integrate with nature or you don't participate in these plant medicine sessions and you don't find a way to return back to the source, like you're still a child out here, even though you're an adult. And like a true adult, a true living being, a real person has you become one with the cosmos once you become integrated with nature. Your body is made of mycelium. Like all your parts, right? They represent the earth and you are the earth. So the mycelium network is something natural for you to integrate with. Your pineal gland gets stimulated, your pituitary gland gets stimulated, all the glands all up and down your central nervous system get stimulated through these medicines. You have cannabinoid receptors in your brain. And why is this? Because it's meant to be received. That means you're meant to integrate with the plant medicine. Do you see, the plant medicine has been demonized for so long, right? By the Rockefellers, by that president in the 1970s who I can't remember, demonizing the plant medicines.
Richard Nixon, Harry Anslinger.
Right?
Yeah, there you go. Richard Nixon.
Speaking of presidents, like if you want a prime example of walking, right? Government, you know, like the governments of the world, why are there wars? You know, why are we in situations in the real life situations, war situations that we're in, is that very reason, right? We have traumatized people in adult bodies, but traumatized children trying to run cities and countries and states and governments. And that's why this world is in the state that it's in, because people need to heal, right? And while we force healing people, what we can do is start with ourselves, right? And that's what we believe is your responsibility as an entrepreneur. Like if you have a business, you are somebody who wants to have a big impact on the world with whatever your product, your services, or whatever your mission you feel is in the world, you have to go be the one to go first, right? To go first and rewire these programs within yourself and release traumas within yourself so you can be the shining light, the shining example, the lighthouse to show people that you are a platform for how it's done, right? And what's possible, right? That true happiness, you know, a lot of people get started in entrepreneurship because they want to make a ton of money, right? They want to make a bunch of money and they feel like, you know, once they have X amount of dollars, then they're going to be happy and fulfilled. But what's most commonly found is that you make the money and then you realize, hey, wait a second, I just made all this money, but why am I not feeling different inside? Why do I still feel unfulfilled? Why do I not feel, you know, I felt happy for a little bit of a time and now I'm used to it. Now that I'm acclimated to this money, I'm still feeling the unhappiness, still feeling the lack of fulfillment. I'm still feeling this emptiness and what is this, right? And it's because, you know, you were never searching. You did actually don't want the money. You didn't actually want the money, right? You want actual, real, pure joy. You want peace, right?
Mm-hmm.
And foundation of joy is not knowing yourself, right?
Bro, can I say something real quick
Knowing
about this
who you
peace?
truly are. Yes, of course.
Yeah, so the temple of the sun is where you can find true peace, and that's exactly what we're inviting you to come. Sedona, Arizona is another indigenous sacred site where you can have a temple of the sun experience without going to Mexico. Of course, it's not going to equal climbing up the step pyramid, taking a bunch of mushrooms, and looking at the sun face to face and having that experience, but it's damn near close, if not exactly close. Sedona is also called the city of Shiva. And with that being said, right, is that is exactly what indigenous ancient tribes have always done to heal traumas, is they've integrated mushrooms into their lives, DMT herbs into their lives, to have that one-on-one connection with the source, with the divine, and let the source and the divine be the guiding light. You are that divine. You are that source. But you have to return back to yourself, and everybody's making all sorts of excuses on and all sorts of distractions to distract themselves from ultimately coming back to their higher self. And it's coming to a time right now in 2024, the year of the dragon, just like my brother Sun Wukong. And brother, feel free to come in at any time and continue to edify the conversation. 2024 is the year of the dragon, right? Which is the year of karma, the year of Ouroboros. It's the year of what goes around comes around. It's the year of the seeds planted. Whatever seeds that you have planted all the way up until this point is going to start sprouting for you, whether negative or positive. And you still have a chance to change the time, right? Because you are the creator, having the child experience. You can decide, you know what, I don't want to go negative downward spiral where everybody else is. I don't want to integrate with AI like everybody else is. I don't want to put Neuralink in my head to get so-called superpowers like some people are doing. Or I don't want to go get these vaccines, you know, the certificate of vaccination identification, AI, right? I don't want to remove myself from nature. I want to have an organic singularity. I don't want to have an AI singularity. That means that I want to be tapped into my highest potential, clairvoyance, clairscience, clairaudience, right? Spiritual power that for good. Go ahead, bro.
Guys, think about it. They don't want us to tap into our mycelium network. Why? Why don't they want us to figure out who we truly are? Did you know that it's been proven scientifically mushroom spores could actually survive the vacuum of space? If you believe in space, whatever. That, you know, I'm not even talking about the whole what is it? Panspermia theory, all this other shit. I'm not even talking about that. But think about it. Why is it that they will admit that mushroom spores grow in space, that they can survive space, they can be here, but they don't? But it's a drug, but it's illegal. There's no medicinal qualities, aspects, nothing. When people get physically buried into the ground, what do they become? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. You go back to the ground, right? Physical aspect, your blood, bones, flesh, all that, your marrow goes back to the ground. What does it become? Mushrooms. All that goes back to the mycelium network. That's what we are. We are mycelium. You know, this is just a whole other aspect of it. Mycelium is not a plant. It's a fungi. It has its own kingdom, its own animalia, if you will. It's a completely different thing. And I probably said this before. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but that they did this experiment in Japan where they had like one of the most colossal, one of the biggest mycelium fungi mushroom networks, and it's like considered like the biggest living organism in the world. And they pretty much did an experiment to where they showed the mushroom a model of the Japanese subway system, the metro system, and is you know the way that us humans did it. And they found out that they could actually train the mushroom, right? And the mushroom was actually way more analytical, way more advanced than us. And they actually figured out a way to trick the mushroom into reorganizing the metro system. When the mycelium was done, it was actually better than what we had designed. It was more efficient. It was quicker. It completely baffled scientists to this day. And I seen that, and I was like, what the hell? So it's like, if you think about it, why do they want to separate you? Why do they want to distract you? Why do they want to cause this Hegelian dialectic? Why do they want to put you in this mental construct of you not figuring out who your true higher self is if you're too busy focused on carnal reptilian fight or flight survival mode? Wake up, guys.
They don't,
Step into that power. It's a year of the
bro,
dragon.
they don't want
Redemption time.
they don't want you to activate your Christ consciousness. They don't want you to activate your spiritual abilities in which you see the government and the local institutions of your neighborhoods, the local, in your local cities. They don't want you to take action from that Christed consciousness mind. They don't want you to become a living Quetzalcoatl, which means somebody who has become one with the source, somebody who is a walking embodiment of the divine. Because militarily, that wouldn't be good for them either. And I'm not even capping when I say this, man. Just like in Super Mario, right? Y'all remember Super Mario when y'all used to play the game in the 1980s, 1990s? Mario would take the mushrooms, would take that DMT star. He would activate that rainbow body. Mario would get bigger and start whooping that ass, right? And ironically enough, start whooping all these negative reptilians. But yeah, militarily, it's a problem for your local governments for you to be in your Christed conscious mind, right? And the indigenous call it Quetzalcoatl. They don't want living embodiments of the Christed energy or the Kukulkan Quetzalcoatl energy, because militarily they can't fight against it. You can't fight sacred geometry pattern. You cannot fight nature. Like the rose is going to break through the damn concrete whether you like it or not. Go ahead.
Yeah, so what I wanted to bring is I want to highlight why this is so urgent and so important for anyone listening to this, specifically, I mean, especially those of you who are entrepreneurs and you're running a business, looking to grow and evolve your business. But really everyone who's on here is important to all of us, because one of the main quote unquote threats today, right, is bioweapons and things that are being created and spread around, you know, pandemic, these kind of things. I don't want to say certain words here and get my stuff shut down or anything, but we got to use code language, right? But you know what I'm talking about. So the one that we saw, in 2020, that's not the last one. There's going to be more, right? And I wanted to highlight how this mushroom path can actually help you to not be one of the people who participates in that. Okay, you gotta go.
Yeah.
You gotta go back. Okay.
Continue.
Okay, so I am a huge fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza. I don't know if anyone, let us know in the comments, follow him and his work, but I've been following him since like 2014. I'm enrolled into his courses, and I just really soak up everything that he puts out, right? The only thing I haven't done is gone to one of his events yet. Once our littlest one is a little bit older and not so much reliant, I look forward to 7 days. But I wanted to highlight something. I'm going to read to you a piece of this article here. The information that him and his team are discovering in regards to meditation and mindfulness. What I want to highlight this as is evolving your brain is absolutely necessary right now in the time that we're in the state that the earth is in the state that humanity is in and has human beings. If you're not putting evolving your brain, healing your brain, but evolving your brain. What does that mean? That means adding new neural circuitry to your brain, right? Making neuroplasticity a priority to your brain. It literally means changing your brain and evolving it to move it forward, right? The reason why this is so important, I'm going to share this article with you, and I'm going to tie it into how it relates to the mushrooms, right? So anyone can go and look this up on his website. You can go to drjoedispenza.com, and you can, I think you can search under resources or proof tab. Just go and look on his website, okay? He's got a bunch of stuff. But here's this article, and if you want the direct article, DM me. I'll send you the link. It says, oh no, don't tell me my laptop's dying. Okay, I kind of memorized what it is. I think my laptop might be dying. Okay, so it says observing a research milestone, right? So if you're not familiar with his work, what they do is they do week-long meditation retreats, and they take people through a certain style of meditation to specifically get their brainwave states to access theta brainwaves, and even some people are accessing gamma. So anyways, you're down regulating and downshifting your brainwaves to access these where you can heal, you can evolve, and you can also have transcendental experiences. And what a lot of people are finding, like if you go to his YouTube channel, if you go check out Dr. Joe YouTube channel, it's just testimonial after testimonial after testimonial of people who are attending these events, and after doing these meditations and being a student of this work, they're healing themselves from things that you would not even believe. That's hard to believe that they're healing themselves from, right? I don't want to go too deep into it because I don't want to get flagged or anything like that, but go check it out on your own. But anyways, the milestone they discovered was that there is a certain protein that they're finding in the blood, because they're doing blood work on these people. They're doing biofeedback, and I don't even know all the jargon, but they're measuring their brain waves. They're measuring what's happening. They've got neuroscientists. Like, he has a team of neuroscientists. He's got all these people involved in what they're doing. And so they're measuring what's happening to people as they're having these experiences. And they discovered a new protein, and they're calling it Serpin A5. You can probably go Google that, Serpin A5. And what they're finding is that this property, this protein in the blood of these advanced meditators is making them, it's fighting off cancer. It's making them immune to cancer cells. It's also making them immune to any and all viruses, including the virus that has been going around and has been passed around and whatever it's been talked about, that one. And so why this is important is because you have the mainstream belief over here that there's illness and sickness and it's something that's a threat and there's nothing you can do about it other than take our solution, right? Take our solution, and this is the only thing. You have to take this in order to be safe from this. And then he's over here proving that you can actually change your brain, you can change your biology, your physiology, and you could actually become immune to illness and sickness and dis-ease and viruses and all these things, right? Now, how this relates to mushrooms, and so I've been over here like with as a scientist myself, like trying to dig things up and going off of my own experiences and the experiences Shawal has had, and just, people, our clients, all this stuff. And so the thing that I've made is, so I was on this podcast, and Dr. Joe Dispenza, he was talking to this other person, I forget who it was interviewing him. I've heard him say it multiple times. He said that, we had our neuroscientists, they were here talking with reports, and you know what they said? They said, Dr. Joe, when so-and-so, Susan was in that experience, do you know it looked, the brain wave, the printout, right? The readout of the brain, the person's brain, Susan, whatever her name was. Do you know it looked exactly like she was having a psilocybin experience? Do you know it looked exactly like that? And the first time I heard that, I've heard it several times now, but the first time I heard it, I was like, ding, ding, ding. I was like, knew it. I knew that something similar to that there, it could be God, it could be the spirit, it could be whoever, the divine matrix force, and like communicating with me, that there's a link between having these mushroom experiences and being able to heal your body and evolve your body and evolve yourself as a being. And so to wrap it up, the point that I'm making is that evolving your brain is so important, and these mushrooms can help you do that. And it's not just about having a transcendental spiritual experience, it's about what you take away from that, but also upgrading your literal hardware as the bioelectromagnetic being that you are. You're upgrading your brain so that you can be immune to these things that are coming onto the earth, that are being created to work against us, so to speak. I mean, you don't want to live so much in a drama of like, oh, there's these people against us and all these things, but there is a reality that there are some certain people that for whatever reason, they just, they enjoy testing things out on us human beings, and they have, they're poisoning our food, and they're poisoning the air, and they're poisoning, Shawal says they're not people, they're negative grade aliens, or the reptilians, or whatever. There's these beings, I'll just say beings, there's beings that are doing all these things, and we have to ask ourselves why. And then we also have to ask ourselves, well, how can we combat this, or how can we, play a good defense or offense with what's happening? And this is one of the ways, right, is that we can, these medicines, these are here to not just heal, right, and remember who we truly are, and have a closer connection and spiritual connection and spiritually evolve, but also on a biological, physiological level. Like, there is definitely an opportunity for us to become more mindful people, to transform our nervous system, transform our brain, so that we become a species of upgraded human being that's not able to be fucked with, right? That's not able to be attacked. That's not able to be like, sorry, you create whatever you want, but we've upgraded. Like, we cannot be touched by these things that you're creating or this way that you're trying to destroy us. So I don't know, Chavo, if you have anything to add to that. That's the point that I would.
Yeah. Thank you, Kim. That was beautiful. Well said. Very well said. Guys, let's give Kim a round of applause for real. And she is a G. She is a G. One of the most authentic, transparent people you will ever meet, honestly. Commendable, commendable. To know this amount of knowledge and to share it, you know, here you go, here's value, here you go, here you go. And all done out of righteousness, out of love, to not loose, to not contain, to not try to contain this universal, abundant, infinitesimal energy source, which is love. To realize that you are equal to everyone else around you. God is an infinitesimal fractal of everything reflecting within you and without, you know, and externally of you. To know that and to be able to just bottle it up and to give that value out and to, you know, to speak like amazing. And that's where we're different, guys. This is where Quetzalcoatl Institute is different. That's where we are different. No, there is no other place in the world where you will find this amount of truth, the amount of love, amount of righteousness. You know, we're all on the same path. It's just some people might be a step or two ahead. You know, that doesn't make them any better. You know, they're equal. You know, what a noble person does is, you know, here you go. It's not a handout, but, you know, if you want, you know, you can bring the horse to the water. You can't make him drink. If you guys want, you know, here it is, you know, and that's it. We're not selfish. You know, we're not egotistical. We've done shadow work. We integrate, you know, with sacred medicine. We do the shadow work. We're not afraid to face our demons, if you will. We're not afraid to face those negative emotions because we realize that that was necessary for our growth. You know, that's what made us become who we are. You know, J. Cole says, pressure makes diamonds, right? What's coal under pressure? Diamonds. You know, you are a diamond. Wake up, guys. You are a rainbow diamond being. If you shine a prism and you shine light through a prism, what do you get? All these different rays, all these arrays of light, right? It doesn't matter what you see externally on this first physical density level. You are that same love. You are that same light source beaming through, you know? Wake up, empty that cup, toss this new information in, take a sip. You know, this is a little IV drip of knowledge, wisdom, truth. You know, welcome back, guys. Welcome back and welcome to QI. It's been an honor. I love you guys. Be safe out there.
Thank you. But yeah, so to wrap it up, you know, so the invitation is there, right? For those of you either watching this right now live with us, or you might be watching this on a page, maybe at a later day or something like that. But as of today, what is the day today? Like the 19th? I forget. My
20th.
Is it still? It's the 20th already?
Yeah, February 20th. Yep.
Okay, so it's the 20th. We have 2 spaces available. So we're going to be in Sedona March 6th through the 11th. And so you're going to, basically we're going to show you all around because we love Sedona. We've been there multiple times before. We know it inside and out. We're basically, I joke around saying all the time that we're actually locals of Sedona, but we just don't live there at the moment. Sedona, that's the goal, to relocate and create a healing center there. But anyway, so you're going to be able to come and stay with us in a villa for 5 days, 6 nights, 6 days, 5 nights, something like that. But we're going to be doing this work with you in person, right? Which makes a huge difference when you can meet face to face with people and you can have real in-person experiences. And what makes it special for you is that it's something that you can design. It can be by your design, right? So if you're just at a microdosing level and you're like, well, I'm just working with microdoses, I want to know how to be more conscious about that, and how can I, you know, go about designing my life and healing and doing this trauma work, doing this shadow work, doing this inner child work, doing all the stuff that's required. How can I do that, right? Then we can help you with that. If you're like, no, you know, I've been microdosing for a while and now I'm ready to, you know, I've been called to do a deeper dive, a deeper journey. My cat's attacking my hand right now. Then we can set that up for you as well, right? Really set up to be catered and designed to how, whatever it is that you want to experience at whatever level that you're able to experience it. And it for those of you who want to go deeper, we're giving you the option of you could do a solo journey, which is we set up the space for you to be by yourself and to really go within. Some people might want that privacy. They might want the opportunity to, you know, go within and be able to just let anything out or express anything that you want to express in their own personal space. Or you also have the option of doing a group ceremony where there's going to be several people there that already do want to go on a deeper journey, and you're going to be able to go on a group journey together, which both have their benefits, right? So you get to make that choice. In addition to that, we're going to be doing outdoor excursions. We're going to be going to the 8th, 9th, and 10th. There is something called the Sedona Ascension Retreat. So there's going to be all kinds of speakers, workshops, and all these things there. You can go and check it out. SedonaAscensionRetreat.com, I believe, is the website for that. But we're including general admission for our attendees. We're all going like on a field trip together to go to this event and retreat. It's going to be cool. And then we're going to be doing our ceremony beforehand and our workshops beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to the ceremonies, we're going to be also doing business workshops, right? So we're going to be sitting down with you and finding out, where are you in your business? What is it that's been struggling with the most? Maybe you're like, I'm just getting started. I don't really know what direction I want to go in. I know that I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to get started on this path, but it's not really clear for me, like what direction I want to go in. That's what this activation and the intention behind putting this together is all about, is helping steer you, right? If you're a ship, helping steer you in the right direction, giving you a visual and giving you options of like learning what it is that you have, what it is that you're working with, what's your product, your service, helping you get clear on those things. If you want to create a product or a service, if you're looking to get into digital marketing, you're like, I'm helping clients with this stuff over here, but I want to have more freedom, more automation. I want to have, more options. We can help you figure out, how to add things in or open up additional streams of income. Our specialty is systems and automation. So like if you're somebody who you've been struggling with, you're like, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm working like 12, 18 hours a day and I don't really see the light at the end of the tunnel. I want to know, how can I have more freedom and how can I help more people without adding more hours on? Because that's one of the traps that we get stuck in sometimes in entrepreneurship is in the very beginning is we're working so many hours and we're like, we sabotage our own success because we don't see how we can expand without also adding more hours. It's like our brains can't compute. Like, how can I help more customers, more clients, but I'm already working the max hours. So I don't really get logically how that's going to work, right? So we have different ways to be able to actually work less and increase your income. That's one of the best things you can discover as an entrepreneur, as a digital entrepreneur, right? So we have so many different things to in addition to the mushroom medicine. And why this is unique is because we're blending it together. And why we're doing that is because we think that having both is so important, right? Having the spiritual and the energetics and the mind, right, is one thing, but then also having the application, knowing what to do. Because in my experience, so many times I've gone to events or retreats or taken courses or done things where it's like, it was great. It got me motivated, inspired. And then like I got stuck in inaction because I didn't know, well, what do I go out and do now? Right. So we want to give you both sides. We want to help you to not only have those emotional breakthroughs and that clarity and the clarity of your purpose and the direction that you're going in, but then we want you to leave there having like, wow, I can clearly see how by the end of this year, I can have this, and this done, and I can have a timeline, and I can clearly, because that's what we all want, right? We all want clarity, and you actually need clarity to move into action. But one of the sneakiest things about that